This is Namu updating on my raw food experiment. I decided to stop naming my videos by day 1, day 2, day 3, etc. For several reasons. First, I think this is something that I want to pursue long term. And second, I've eaten cooked food twice now since I began 7 or 8 days ago, and I don't feel guilty about it. But it's not technically day 7 or day 8 in a row for me since I did eat some cooked food. Um, I on day 6, I on day 5, that night I ran out of fruit in the house, and I don't drive, and I was staying at someone else's house, and I didn't have a ride to the grocery store, and all I had left was carrots and greens. And I was eating the carrots and greens all day, but I got that feeling where I was so full I couldn't eat anymore, but I still didn't feel like I had enough energy. I didn't feel like I was getting enough calories, and it was just taking a lot of work to digest like the carrots and these like huge leaves of raw collard greens. Um, so I was just like, fuck it, and I ordered some food online, and I couldn't finish it, and it didn't feel good to eat it. And I tried to order something healthy, even though it was cooked. I got some Greek food with hummus and um, like pita bread. I don't eat gluten. It's very rare that I eat gluten, but I've never been able to get like a real diagnosis from a doctor. I've had doctors tell me that I should just not eat gluten if that's what I feel better doing, but I wasn't able to get actual diagnostic tests done ever because it was too expensive. So I'm not always like positive that it's. Sometimes I wonder if it's not gluten, but maybe just grains in general or processed foods in general that make me feel this way. So sometimes I like to experiment a little bit. So I ate this pita bread. Terrible mistake. I felt horrible, horrible. Within like 20 minutes of finishing the meal, my mood was horrible, and I couldn't. I got brain fog again, and I just felt like shit. And my partner was like, "Well, like, how do you know it's not all in your head?" And this is something that I got constantly when I first started watching what I eat and started avoiding gluten. People would always tell me, like, how do you know it's not all in your head? Well, I there's no way for me to prove to anyone external of my body what's going on in my body and how severe my symptoms are. But even if it's all in my head, that doesn't make it any less real. If I'm having diarrhea and migraines to the point where I can't speak and I can't talk, and all of these symptoms are brought on because of a psychological problem. Um, Even if it's a psychological problem and the gluten or whatever intolerance is all in my head, the symptoms are real. And when I stop eating these things, the symptoms go away. So I don't give a fuck if it's all in my head. It's still real to me. So that argument never made sense. But anyway, and then later that night I came back home to New York. I was on the subway, and I had like half of the Greek food left with me, and there was a homeless man, so I gave it to him, and that was that. I was like, I don't even want the rest of this. And then later that night I had horrible, horrible, horrible migraine, and yeah. And then the morning after that was yesterday. And since I'm back in town, I went back to my regular yoga studio. It's actually been quite a few months since I went. So I like to do Bikram Yoga, which, for those of you who don't know, it's very specific type of yoga. It's actually like a brand's name. It's a copyrighted sequence of yoga positions. But the main thing is that they're done in a room that's heated to 100 degrees in like 50% humidity. It's trying to mimic the natural like tropical climate of India. It helps you just like detox a lot more because you're sweating like half of your body weight out each practice, and it just makes I love it. I love it. But so it was the first time I've been back in a long time, and usually when I take a hiatus like this, I don't expect very much from myself. I try not to get stressed out or have any ideas about, like just like breezing through everything. The first day back is usually really intense, a lot of lightheadedness and dizziness and lying down and getting back up and resting and wanting to leave the room. And it wasn't like that I I ate the Greek food, and then that night in the morning I woke up and it was like boom, I was home. I brought like the carrots and the greens with me from where I was staying, and I have a juicer at home, so I juiced all of those. Um, Drink that, felt amazing, and went to yoga for the first time in a very long time. And I just floated through everything as if I had been practicing for weeks recently. I felt it just, I mean, it wasn't perfect, obviously. There was moments when I let myself take breaks and, take it easy, but I was practicing to the point where I would be practicing if I had been working out and doing yoga consistently for weeks. And that wasn't the case. I haven't been moving around at all lately. Actually, I felt so great that I decided to go back later in the day, after a few hours of break, to do more yoga. And so I did 2 sessions, and even the second session, there weren't very many people in the class, and I was definitely resting more than anybody else in the class. But I didn't even like tell the instructor or anyone that it was my second class in the same day, which in Bikram Yoga it's called a double, and people always talk about like, oh, I've always wanted to do a double. It just seems so scary. It's so intense, and then people do doubles, and it is really scary and intense. But I felt incredible yesterday, just incredible. And after the practice, I like to stay in corpse pose for as long as I can, cool down. I think I'm going to do a video about yoga tips. It's one of the main things that I notice, one of the main mistakes that I notice people who are new to yoga making. But that aside, I was chilling out in the studio with other people resting after the sessions, and we were talking about like other health things that we were doing, how long we had been doing yoga, and I just couldn't stop telling everybody about 80-10-10 raw fruit. It feels great, and I see that now. Like, I started out very skeptically, and I don't want to make this a stressful thing for me, because I don't feel like when I'm eating the fruit, I don't feel hungry. I don't feel deprived of anything. I actually enjoy eating this way more than I enjoy eating regular food for the most part. I still do have cravings, still do have trip ups. So yeah, so the second time that I ate cooked food was last night after yoga, came home, and from the time when I ordered the Greek food online, I got a $10 coupon on Grubhub. And I'm not wealthy, and $10, it's significant. So I was like, I need to use this up before it expires. So I looked up raw vegan restaurants. I live in New York City, so 2 came up, and I was really excited. And by that time, though, it was like 10 p.m., they were both closed for the night. So I got Mexican food, but I got gluten-free Mexican, a few dishes, and it was really good. I think definitely because it didn't have gluten in it, I didn't have migraine or like crazy reaction, but I didn't feel great after eating it. I just felt kind of like sedated and like, a little bit funny. And then this morning I woke up and I had a mild stomach ache. It wasn't too bad, and then just some like weird poops, just weird shapes, and just all kinds of textures. And anyway, so yeah, gonna go back on the fruit. I went grocery shopping yesterday, and bought a whole bunch of fruit. Came out to a bunch of money. I don't know how long I can keep this up for. I have tried looking for Costco cards. I just put up a Facebook status to see if any of my friends have memberships at Costco, PJ, other discount stores. But a lot of times these kind of stores have huge discounts on like electronics and clothes and like processed foods, like, boxes of cereal, jars of marinara sauce. But when it comes to produce, it doesn't, from what I've researched online, it doesn't seem that they have huge deals. So, of course, I'm really interested in finding wholesale produce sellers in New York, and I saw some YouTube videos of other like raw fooders who've been doing this for a long time, who tell stories about going to wholesale retailers and getting like free crates of bananas and just incredible deals. But I don't have a car, and I don't know, like, do I just walk into a wholesale place? And I'm not really sure, but I'm not like a shy person. So I'll figure it out. I'm not like too shy to just walk into a warehouse and just be like, hey, like, I need some fresh fruit. But I don't know if that's like allowed, if I need to like call ahead. So I'm trying to find more information on that. Any videos or anything I found about raw fooders doing that kind of thing haven't really given technical advice. They've just been like, hey, it is possible to get cheap raw food. But they don't say like how to go about doing it. This one video that I did see, I wish I could like reference you guys to it, you know, but I don't remember this guy's name, but he's been doing some great videos on YouTube, and he seems to be based in New York City as well. So I might try to get in touch with him, just to meet up with some people who are raw. Um, but he has a website called thefruitarian.com. So if you're interested in doing more research and you've never heard of that website, I highly recommend his website and his videos. But in his video, he's the one who talks about going to the warehouse, and he actually has some footage of the warehouse, and he's just like, you know, like white guy, white appearing guy, but he was in a warehouse with like a Chinese um, sign on the outside, and then all of the workers were Chinese. So I don't speak Chinese, I speak Korean, but I know that from growing up part of the Korean diaspora, I know that like Koreans help each other out. If I go into a store um, and it's like an older person working in New York City, and I can tell that they're Korean, and I speak to them in Korean, I get huge discounts. And so I'm wondering if there's like Korean wholesalers in New York. If the Chinese are doing it, probably the Koreans are doing it. You know, I'm gonna check out Queens, Brooklyn. We'll see what I can find. And yeah, I'm gonna go back to yoga today. I was thinking about trying to do doubles every day for the rest of this week, but I think physically I'm definitely capable of doing that, and I feel great after yesterday. I feel great. But I just time-wise, I have a lot of things to do today, and class is 90 minutes. I like to walk. It's about a mile away, so, and I'm not too fast of a walker. Although yesterday, when I was walking to and from yoga class, I thought I would be like exhausted and like dragging myself to the studio, but I had to stop myself from running because there was just this bounce in my steps, and I just had so much energy. I don't have enough good things to say about how I feel on the 80-10-10. It's really just like incredible so far. After yoga yesterday, some crazy results. Like all of the little pimples along my forehead are just completely gone without a trace. The little hard itchy pimples. But there is one new one like right here, and it kind of hurts, and it's like much bigger. It's a different type of one. The little ones that I get, that you can't really like squeeze or pop them because they're so tiny. I don't even know if they're technically pimples, but this is like, it's like coming to a head, and I know I'll be able to squeeze it. So I think this is more of a detox reaction. It came after yoga yesterday. You know, my body like gathering up toxins in that part of my body and bringing it to the surface. So, you know, I'm cool with it. Just letting it happen. Yeah. So thank you for watching, and I want to keep updating. And yeah, thank you very much. Bye bye.